Hello everybody and welcome to the foundation module of this course. Now in the foundation module, we are addressing everything about leveling up as a person, as a business owner, as a brand builder. Everything that you are here to work on as an individual requires you to really dig deep and do some inner work, as well as some outer work in terms of our business online. But this foundation module is all about the inner work, and I want us to take a minute to address this because it's super important. In fact, I would argue it's the most important part of what you're about to embark on. In order to achieve that next level of your life, you have to become the next level version of yourself. And so a lot of becoming that next level version of yourself is investing into your mindset, your beliefs, the daily self-talk, the things that you're telling yourself every day. Because I want to be real with you. If every day you're telling yourself that you are not worthy, that you don't know what you're doing, that who am I to be the expert, so-and-so is better than me, and so on and so forth, that's really going to trickle out into everything that you put out into the world, online especially, with your branding. So you want to make sure that first things first, your house is in order. So what we're going to do right now is address your house and how to get it in order. The first thing that I want you to know is that as creatives, as makers, as entrepreneurs, the nature of what we do is it's so personal to us. And as a result, it's a very emotional process, both creating the things that we do and then offering them to the world and promoting and sharing it with the world as well. And so I have come across so many different people in my life who have suffered from this exact same thing, and lots of my clients as well. I work with them on these things. And it's something that I am constantly investing in myself with every level that I achieve and every new chapter of my life. It's always showing up, because as you grow, there are going to be new challenges and new ways that you are going to have to evolve and become your best self. So I want you to know this is not something that you are just going to address and it'll be gone. I think it's one of those things, sort of like working out, it's working out and stretching that muscle in your brain, that mindset muscle. So I want you to have the tools and the knowledge to be able to do that so that you can be wildly successful. Fear. Fear is a huge one. When we think about putting ourselves out there, fears will pop up just because, again, it is so personally tied to what you do, that the idea of putting it out into the world and facing things like rejection, or people maybe questioning or giving feedback or critique that, might affect us personally, that's a big one, I would say. Another fear is certainly just claiming your expertise. A really funny thing happens especially when we're pivoting in our careers or in our lives, and we're starting to claim new identities. And so this happened for me actually when I began to build my art brand. So something that I do on the side still to this day, I've been doing it for about 10 years now, is I paint. I'm an abstract painter and I sell my art online. So I had to go through a lot of this work around that identity because I'm a self-taught painter. I never went to school for it. I'm not a fine artist. It's something that I started to do for myself in the privacy of my own home because it was therapeutic. It helped me. And it was actually accidentally that I started selling that work because I shared it online one day. I think I put it on Facebook for my family to see what I was working on. And from that point, I never imagined selling my work, but I got so much feedback and so many people saying, hey, can I buy that? Can you make that in this color for me for my home? I'd love to buy art from you. So as you can imagine, as I went through that kind of journey of starting to sell my work, and especially when I took it more seriously a few years back, I started to have so many fears that popped up. It was basically around the idea of saying that I am a painter and asking people for money in exchange. And that is something that I had to work through, and it really all came down to my mindset. because the moment that I decided to claim that identity confidently, you know that saying, fake it till you make it, there's some value in that, within reason. So when I started to truly claim that identity and put it out there, yes, I was scared, and yes, I was fearful of feedback that might hurt. But I want you to know that most times people are quite curious and kind. And even if you do face people who, let's face it, aren't your people, that's okay, because there is going to be something for everyone. And what you do might not be for everyone, and that's okay, because for every person that's not into you and what you do and what you provide, there are going to be so many people that are here for you and what you are putting out into the world. So I want you to remember that. Something that I talk about a lot online is this comparison trap and how it can really tear us down, and that, it's just not healthy. Because I want you to know that, first of all, when we compare ourselves to others online, it's really doing a disservice to ourselves. And that is because you do not know the intimate wins or struggles that someone else online is dealing with. In fact, a lot of the times, those people who seem like overnight successes, they've been at it for a long time, and they have been putting in that work consistently to get there. And that is their journey. And you don't need to worry about that, because where you are at right now is not where they are at right now. And it doesn't matter if you're in the same industry or you provide the same service and products. It doesn't matter, because they are who they are and you are you. And that's what makes the experience of buying from you and getting connected to you online unique, because they don't have the life experiences that you do, and vice versa. So I want you to really keep that in mind. And, when we start to compare ourselves to others, when it comes down to things like vanity metrics, so like how many followers a person has, it's again doing such a great disservice to ourselves, because as someone who has been in the marketing industry for about a decade now, I know that a lot of brands and businesses typically will buy followers, and that's quite commonplace now. And the thing that you really need to worry about is your own tribe and your own people, even if you only have one follower right now. If you have one follower, you are an influencer. You have the ability to impact and influence someone's life for the better. So that's what you should be focusing on. Don't focus on those metrics. How many followers, none of that matters. What matters is how can you show up and provide value for someone else. So that's a really good way to kind of combat thinking about other people and comparing. Another thing that starts to come up for us are these excuses that we have. Like, I don't have time, I'm not good at self-promotion, I don't like self-promotion or sales. I hear this a lot, and that's okay. I understand that, because frankly, I don't like sales either. But the thing is, we have such sort of antiquated ways of thinking about sales, and these assumptions that sales is slimy. And there was a time and place, and there still is, some approaches to selling that is just awful, for sure. But there are so many ways to sell authentically and on your own terms that are going to feel good, and that will come naturally, and it will attract people to you with ease. I promise you. I'm going to show you exactly how in this course. So the reasons why I want you to address these things and why it's important is because when we don't address these things, it can really take our energy. When we're thinking about this all day, every day, and it starts to really get to our confidence, and, it makes us feel like we don't even, what's the point? Why would we even try to build our business online? It can just really drain and waste your energy and cause overwhelm in your life. And it's so important to address this, because you do not have time to have basically a hole where energy is just spilling out that you need. You need every ounce of energy and motivation that you need to truly become known for what you do and help people. And so I want you to address these things. It's going to help you. And I want you to know that you need to believe in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, and if you don't exude the confidence and show up as that confident person, then no one else will buy it. They won't believe you. If you don't believe in yourself, why should you expect anyone else to, right? And that is very common. And as business owners and as people who are building brands and have big dreams like we do, you have to get comfortable with self-promotion. And I want you to know that it does get easier as we go. And if you don't start to prioritize these types of goals for yourself, chunking out those big dreams into smaller achievable chunks and really laying out a plan for yourself, I know that it's not going to happen. Nobody's going to do it for you. This is my tough love part of this lesson. You have to really show up for yourself and be your own biggest cheerleader and advocate. And of course, I'm going to be here cheering you on as well. So you've got me in your corner, that's for sure. And the other thing that is super, super important here is, you guys, yes, our mindset, we need to get that in check and really keep a thumb on the pulse of how that's doing day in and day out. You really want to check in with yourself often. But the other really big thing that I want you to really dig deep on before we get going is, what is your purpose? When I say purpose, I mean why. What's your big why? Beyond the brand, beyond the business, beyond what you're building, why? What is your why? Why are you here on this earth, and how do you want to have an impact? What is that legacy you want to leave behind? And the reason, I know these are big questions, and every time I ask my clients this before we work together, I always get this look on their faces. It's like a deer in headlights, like, what? She wants me to think about my purpose in life? Yes, 100% I do. And I'll tell you why. Doing what we're doing and pursuing the path of entrepreneurship, it is not easy. It is not for the faint of heart. But if you have a great purpose, a reason that is bigger than you for doing this and pursuing it, it is going to fuel you and motivate you and give you the energy that you need, even on those tough days. And that's when you need it most. In fact, my grandfather, he used to be a pilot, and one of the last conversations I had with him, I was very curious about, his purpose and passion in life. And, he more so thought of his career as a duty rather than a purpose. However, something that he said, and it struck me and stayed with me, is he said, girl, you have to have a big reason and a big purpose and a big why for doing the thing that you do in life, because there are going to be tough days, and that's what's going to keep you going. That's what's going to get you through it. And so I have some activities that is going to make this really easy for you to start to reflect and really hone in on what that is for you. I mean, I know that I had to do this work for myself, and I revisit it every year, actually, because as you go, things are going to change and evolve. But I paid lots of money to professional coaches to walk me through this, and so now it is something that I absolutely insist on all of my clients and all of my very favorite people that I want to help in the world. This is something I insist that you do as well. And right now, that means you.